taking a look today at adding a mechanical oil pressure gauge to an air-cooled Volkswagen. For roughly 10 years now I've had an electric oil pressure gauge on the Volkswagen, and it works pretty well. I'm just concerned that it pegs out on the freeway at 70, so I'm curious what that true upper number is. And then sometimes with the motor off it reads 20. I think if the battery is kind of low, it doesn't get all the way down to 0. So I decided it was time to switch to a mechanical gauge that goes up to 100 psi. As an aside, all these parts I needed, I wanted to just walk into a brick and mortar store and buy it all at once off the shelf, but actually none of this stuff was in stock except maybe one of the pipe thread tees. So I ordered some stuff from the brick and mortar store, and then I got the gauge and another tee off of eBay. But I did give the brick and mortar store locally the first shot. So back to the story. Somewhat disappointed that while the oil pressure switch on the Volkswagen is a 10mm by 1 thread, and it looks tapered to me, just eyeballing it. The hose kit is standard pipe, 1/8 inch pipe thread, which is 27 threads per inch, which you can see here. So they're not the same. Now in some of the forums people say, oh, just jam them together, it'll be alright. And it probably would work, but it's really not my style. But again, to my disappointment, tees are either 3 ways standard or 3 ways metric. I somehow thought this would have a standard thread to it, but it doesn't. That happens to be, I found in my garage an adapter, and this has the metric thread. Now this time it looks like a straight thread to me, but it's the right pitch. And then it's got inside here the standard pipe. Now these internal ones are, you can't really see it, but you just have to trust me that the tool is sitting down firmly in the thread. So what I plan to do is go, this is the VDOT, into the engine here, and then here's the adapter, and then here's the connection to the VDO hose kit, and then the standard VW oil pressure switch will go here, and this will be on the engine like that, and the hose will come up vertically is my plan at this moment. That may change. Also, some of you may be familiar with this adapter. I still see these on the internet here and there. I couldn't find one on eBay this moment. And I formerly thought that this was metric standard, because for many years I had this 1/4 inch pipe valve screwed into it. But in reflection, this is a very sloppy fit, and I was using this for compressed air, and it was probably leaking and I didn't notice it, and that wasn't a big deal. But I now believe that this is a 14mm by 1.5 thread, because my 1.5 fits nicely there, while the standard 1/4 inch pipe, 18 threads per inch, fits there. So again, this is all metric. It's 10, 10, and 14. So that isn't any help either. This is the EMPI version of the adapter tee, and similarly it's metric, and metric. So unless you want to jam 2 different threads together, pretty much resigned to use some form of an adapter. I think that covers it. If you have any question, be sure and leave a comment. I'll try to capture all the part numbers here for a moment. Thanks, and be sure and watch my other videos.